Quick disclaimer, there's no video for the first 5 minutes of the podcast, so just listen along for now, but at the 5-minute mark, there will be video. So hang in there. This is a really good episode. It's just 5 minutes and no video, and then we're good, full video.
This is not a drug, this is how I feel. Pop champagne, I'ma do it for the thrill. Escape with me, I'm saying maybe we could take off and then land on a jet ski. Baby, I hold it tight, top shelf with it.
That fruit look good.
It do. I'm looking at her eat that. I'm like,
did you
wow.
eat all your fruits?
I still got some left.
Whatever happened to
It's making me miss mine.
What happened to the good old
What?
our little snacks? It's our podcast snack.
Drizzle-ish.
Drizzle-ish.
I don't have any more birthday cake flavor right now. I just have
Come on, Drizzle-licious.
I think I just have s'mores, and s'mores ain't that good. This
Holler
birthday
at
cake
us.
is really like. Look,
Listen.
Deani had the birthday cake one, and that was all you was gonna settle for.
Listen, I'm trying to tell Drizzle-licious to hit us up.
Look, Drizzle-ish.
That's your nearest store.
You know, lately I haven't been eating it that much.
You know, but you know those, Shari, that's so
that
on
happens
brand.
with me.
Like you will like.
Yeah.
Thank you.
you.
It's them letters.
That happens with me like a lot. So I'm like, I'm not like shocked.
You do have hyperfixations.
Yeah.
And then you just drop it. Ooh. That could be
so
dangerous.
funny?
That would be dangerous in a situation you dating somebody and then you're like,
I know. But I let him know. My high school
Like, you
boyfriend,
know?
I like told him that ahead of time.
You told him you had hyperfixations?
No, I just told him I'm like that it was kind of scary because I can quickly no. It's not like, oh, I could just quickly I can just turn it off to where I just don't like somebody anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that my mind could just change and I'd be like, ooh, I'm off of it. And I was afraid that I was gonna do that with him. But it turned out that I actually did love him. I didn't do
Yeah, because you were with him for 2.5 years.
almost 3 years.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
it was. I never forget. It was January.
we were
of your
in the
sophomore
clear
year.
of all that, but I'm like,
I was proud of you.
I did tell
but
him
you
that.
you were committed. Like from what I could. Like,
Oh my
you were a
gosh,
committed
yes.
young lady.
yes. That's another thing about me. I believe in just like leaving things where they are.
Unless they
You know what I mean?
organically, like if I'm not saying him.
What'd
you say?
I'm really not. Yeah. Keeping on revisiting over and over again. I'm like, I don't need to keep on revisiting. I will leave stuff, especially because that happens sometimes. Like people do revisit, but especially like you have some kind of confirmation where it's like, yeah, like this is probably not it.
Yeah, to
I'm
me,
like,
the revisiting when it's just nostalgic is not good.
Yeah,
That's what I mean. Like, I don't get me wrong. I'm all for leaving stuff in the past and not even thinking about, oh, let's break up with the hopes of getting back together. I've never broken up with somebody with the hopes of getting back together.
Mm-hmm.
Huh? That's a break.
Right. Yeah.
Right. But
And
I
in
do know of
quotations is
people
right.
who they broke up for whatever reason and their
And they
paths
do
crossed
rekindle.
again.
Mhm.
They were different people as in just like whatever issues they had, whatever they matured, what have you. But I get it.
And that be happening. That's one thing about that.
That be
I am a
happening.
believer in that for some people. Because people do rekindle and come
Right.
back.
But you're not going to seek to or pursue like, oh, let me go back and I'm with you on that.
Because that's just one thing. 'Cause I know that happens for people. And not say I'm always like an anything is possible kind of person. But if I was like a betting woman, I wouldn't put my money on that because I know I'm more of a like leave something where it's at kind of person. Like I don't gotta be friends with you. I don't gotta whatever. I'm like good.
Yeah, I will say
Pressing
this.
on. Yeah, I was saying I'm the type of person like even though I know that happens for other people, I know with my personality type, I'm probably just good to like if I was a betting woman, I wouldn't bet my money on doubling back on somebody. Like I'm more so we're pressing
and
forward.
People have to be careful about like just getting caught up in the nostalgia, honey, because the reality is a whole lot worse than that nostalgia.
Man,
you thinking, oh yeah, I remember this, I remember that, but also remember why you broke up.
Look, and as a nostalgic person, because you know me, Mom,
honey,
I'm so nostalgic. But nostalgia carries people too far. It carries people way too far.
And that's why raising a child that is nostalgic like you, whimsical like you, it literally takes like, oh my gosh. Like I didn't prepare for it, but I learned early on, like I have to help be your stabilizer.
Yeah.
And your like reality check sometime. I'd be like, okay, Shari, I know you want this now. You're really into da-da-da-da-da. But Mom, da-da-da. I'm like, yes, but have you thought about this? And there were times I didn't know what could stop you. Like once you set your mind on something.
I don't know what could stop you.
There would
Not
be times where
much.
you have a revelation about something we could have been talking about. I'm like, oh, thank God. I'm like, Shari, what
And you
made you?
used to tell me that too. You'd be like, Shari, sometimes I just don't know what it's going to take for you. I don't know what it's going to
I
take.
don't know what it's
And
gonna
I would say,
take.
I don't know either.
Because you'd be so resolute, like about
Mm-hmm.
how you. That's what I now remember what I was gonna say. One thing about you though that I admired
One thing about
watching,
me.
because I didn't get to do this. First of all,
Okay.
just like my mother said, tell the teacher. My mother was also like, no boyfriend. We're not doing no boyfriend
Yeah.
till you're 18. And so it was like I didn't really get to experience dating in my house with my mother or parents knowing. You did. And so watching how you handled it, like, well, you were very mature, but you were still age appropriate. And I remember like when you broke up, it was like you allowed your, first of all, you didn't break up like, oh, he
I
was cheating on me, I'm breaking up
grieved.
with him. Like you had really sound reasons.
I did.
Like it was just a very
Mm-hmm.
thought out thing.
I'm going to say something about something you said. What you said about me being able to like date under your roof. A lot of Black girls specifically talk about that now as adults, and how like people will say like Black women need to choose better men, Black women need to da 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 da. And they were like, you don't realize that a lot of us were never allowed to date under our parents' roofs in the first place. Like it was always looked at it, and you don't need to be looking at the boys, and don't be fast and da da da. And by the time they leave their parents' house, that's when they get to date
Right.
under no like advice,
Yes.
like wise counsel, like whatever.
Yes.
So they're like, so yeah, a lot of us are lost because our parents never let us do any of
And
that
you
like,
know
to begin
what?
with.
And
And I'm
I-
like,
What you're saying is just so deep. I just
I'm
think
thankful
about
that you did.
Yeah, I think about just other parents, and this is maybe not talked about a whole lot, but I think parents have this thing that we carry, especially those of us who really like want to do it right. Like you have this burden of I got to make sure my kids respect me. I got to make sure that, I'm not allowing them to do something that can cause them harm, or
Mhm.
like all these things in our minds of like protection things, where we don't realize that sometimes we're actually like keeping you from experiencing some things in life that you have to
Yeah.
naturally experience under our guidance. Because like I said, my mother didn't no dating in her house, right?
Yeah.
Not until you're 18, but by the time I'm 18, I'm an
You're
adult.
probably going to be
and might be out
maybe
of the
going
house.
to college. Yeah.
Right.
Yours was 16.
Yeah, but like, I told you 16.
Mhm.
But the reason why I did that, because I thought about that, I said, by the time she's 18, because both of y'all graduated 17. By
Yeah.
the time you're 18, you in college. You've been
Yeah.
in there. And I'm like, I would want to like not be in your business, not be nosy, because you can say it, we're very honest. Was I in your business when you were dating? No, like you would. One thing about you, you're a sharer.
I was about to say, it never really
So-
had to get to that point because I'm just talking to you anyway, right?
Yeah.
And if something's happening, if I'm crying, you're asking me, I'm not
Right,
I'm not
right.
keeping it to myself. I'm telling you like, Mom.
Yeah,
like,
and
I'm
if you
saying
were like really
everything.
quiet for a long period of time, I'd probably do check-ins. Like, is everything all right with y'all? Is he treating
Because you're
you
just
all
a
right?
check-in-er, period.
Yeah, I'm a checker inner because
yeah.
I also understand sometimes people can be in very abusive relationships, not necessarily physically. It could be mentally, it could be emotionally, what have you. And as the child, they may be afraid to say something. Like I like to give you enough comfort and space
Yeah.
to open the door if you needed to tell me something. You're not thinking I'm going to freak out and the world's going to come to an end.
Yes.
And that's what I was really trying to do.
Yeah.
And so
And I didn't even think I was gonna like date in high school.
yeah,
Like, even though you
threw us for a loop. I know you threw
No,
me for a loop coming to
literally.
tell me, Mom, there's this guy that I like. And I
Cause
think
yeah,
I really like what?
Me and Sydney were very much like we were just not really on that.
Y'all weren't on that.
And
I mean,
think
y'all
I've-
like, you saw boys,
Yeah,
you thought they were cute.
But we were never like
you had your little elementary school stuff.
Yes,
Mhm,
yes.
that I didn't know about.
But yeah, we were. What's funny about me? Sorry, I just gotta say this. Me being a kid and liking DeMarcus, that was like over like years and years.
And
of
I never knew
elementary.
till.
And I think it's so.
Didn't
funny.
I just find out?
Maybe you did. I don't know. But the only reason why we were pushed together is because we both could flip. I'm like, that's the kind of stuff that be happening when you're in elementary school.
Who pushed out? So was he at the Boys and
We're
Girls
not
Club,
pushed,
or was he at the
not pushed
elementary
together.
school?
We both, not necessarily pushed together, but we both could flip. So we kind of like off of that, like we're talking to each other,
The
like, oh, you
flippers.
can do a back handspring, I can do a back handspring too, like stuff like
Yeah.
that. But me and Sydney, like, and Mom, like our vibe was like how quickly can we get to the couch to watch our shows? That's what me and Sydney were on.
And y'all like cheerleading, like Sydney cheered in middle school.
Or like we just went to the library. Okay, so let's get together. Let's get to breakfast. Let's read our books.
Hang out with your friends.
Yeah, it's like we weren't really caring. So like I was not thinking I was gonna. Also, I thought every boy in high school, I'm like, and all of y'all, like I can't even talk. Like I can't even have a conversation with y'all. Y'all just whatever.
Yeah.
So I didn't even expect it. But by the time it happened, like that's when we started having the conversations.
Remember, you were 15. It was January. You weren't turning 16.
It literally was. I remember that it was January.
And I remember thinking in my mind, this is happening too soon. Wait.
Yeah.
I had prepared myself for 16. That was already a big deal for me because my mother, different story.
Yeah.
And so, but you were so mature. I mean, at this point, I think you were making straight A's.
Mm-hmm.
You were very like disciplined. And I remember having that conversation with Jimmy, and I'm like, Jimmy, I said 16, but and he's more open.
He was cool. He was
to
like,
the whole thing.
Yeah, he was like, I like him.
Me. Even with LJ, he would have been fine with LJ dating at 13.
Right. Yeah. He was not. He was
not a stickler about the idea of dating at a young age. Probably because he did. Yeah, afterwards, that's a whole different story. That's a different story.
The idea of me dating, he was like not pressed.
He was not pressed. But I said the bottom line is they like each other. So whether we like it or not, they go together. Like, I know what that looks like at school.
Whether we like it or not.
We go together. Like, even if our parents don't want us together, you can't make people unlike each other.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and I told him specifically, I said, we might as well do it under like our roof, our terms, kind of like we can put some parameters in place.
Yeah.
So that they can still date.
And it gave me a good like trial, I feel.
That was
you know
a good starter kit, as your uncle would say. A good starter kit, like some kind of like foundation to where when I am an adult, like I have a reference and I had like you to kind of like as a sounding board. You know what I mean? Yeah. You still had your friends, but like it was something like you didn't have to hide. Like I was happy. I was actually happy for you because I didn't have that.
How cute.
And I was happy for you. Like she gets to like live this out. You don't have to. First of all, once again, I thought my mother knew everything, so I didn't have no boyfriend really till.
Because you're like, Shona.
It was actually my junior year towards the end of my junior year, I had kind of had a boyfriend. Somebody I was talking to on the phone. But what I was gonna say was, watching you through that, and even the times like when the time you broke up.
Yeah.
It took everything in me to keep it together. Yeah. Because you literally, like you broke up, like you brought crumbled. It up.
Yeah.
But you were still hurt. Like it was real. You were like, you really loved him.
And like you said, it was like literally nothing serious happened. It's just, I was realizing, I'm like, we're both about to go to college. We have very different ideas of what like, we wanted our lives. Oh, I didn't even.
The Netflix show Forever.
Yeah. I'm still on episode 2.
Oh, it's so good. You got to finish it.
I'm so weird about like
it does pick up.
Yeah,
and it's really good.
And I'm the kind of person, I'm knowing that. You know
Black
what I mean?
Cast,
I'll give a show like so many episodes, and I'll like
Regina
stick with
King,
it, but I don't know why I can't get with it. Okay, I'm gonna get on it. I'm like, I don't know why.
Yeah, it's good, but it was. But what I was gonna say, you were saying something.
I knew that we had completely different ideas for what our lives were gonna look like, and I'm like, yeah, so it's not gonna work in the future. Like it's really not. Because we're only going to get older and more different.
Shari, that right there is mature.
At the time, I was thinking that
I knew it was mature. Because I knew grown women who knows this guy is not good for you, the way based on how he's treated you. And he treated you well.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And they have a hard time breaking loose. That's why I said, I am so proud of you. It takes a lot to make this decision. And so that's why you were hurt. Because at the end of the day, even though logically, cognitively, you knew what you needed to do. Emotionally, you were still hurt because you loved him. Yeah. And I would say that's the mistake that sometimes parents make of saying, y'all know love. Y'all know about real, like, be careful telling your kids that. Don't get me wrong. I know they can get out of hand. Yeah. But the emotions that they are feeling, they really are feeling as if they love this person based on how connected they feel to them.
Because we also were really serious. Because he was kind of a lot like me, in which like he was very mature too. He was literally not checking for another soul. He was not
he was respectful.
Very.
He was very like y'all are sapiens sapiosexuals.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like y'all are very into like the mentals and intelligence. Like you were attracted to his intelligence, and he probably yours.
No, literally. So, I'm like, it's gonna have to be a smart man every time.
Every
But
time.
yeah, he was like
You
very
gonna have to be smart to have an
serious.
argument with this one. Cause you gonna lose. You have to be smart not to
That's
argue,
funny.
right? Like I don't
But
even want to go there.
he was so serious though, because I remember one time, and I don't remember if I like told you about this, but this was like I think senior year or junior year. We were talking about college. I don't know, and I was like, well, if in the future we are together, and he was like, why would you say if? Why would you even say it? He got so upset at me, and I'm literally
Really?
like, we gotta be real about this. Like we
Wow.
have to be. I said, I'm not saying that I like want to break up with you because I don't want that either. I was just saying because I know like life can kind of
But
go different
he couldn't even
ways.
wrap his brain
He
around
was
it.
not.
And like
He
I
was
said,
not
Shari,
on that
that's
kind of
mature.
time at
Most girls don't want to
all.
think about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
like,
he was not on that kind of time. Like he was not talking about. He was not entertaining any of those kind of thoughts. And I'm like, I'm not really entertaining. I'm just saying, like, I'm trying to be realistic about like
and
life.
part of me, like, I admired the fact that you weren't like. It's so crazy. There was kind of a duality to that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like the fact that you were mature enough. You know, this is what you wanted, what have you. But I also like the fact that you were like, I could go. Like, if I feel like this is not for me, I don't have to stay attached to this young man. I have
Yeah.
a life. Here are my hopes and dreams. This is what I want to do. Like I never would want you to be reckless
Oh yeah, for
because,
sure.
but you never gave reckless. You
Mm-hmm.
just gave I have some priorities.
Yeah, and I
I don't
like
have
thought it
to
through. And remember, because I remember I was in the shower and I let out like the craziest howl. Like it was like a
It
whale.
was a whale. But I thought you were out of the shower
I
because
remember.
me and Jimbo came over to you
Yeah, no,
in
but
your room.
I was in the shower. It's just the door was closed. So when I let out that wail, I guess Jimbo thought something had happened. So he knocked. He said, "Are you okay? What's going on?" And you were there too. And I was like, "I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm just like whatever."
I don't know.
And
Maybe
then
that was more than one whale because at one point we were in your room and you were hugging
yeah,
him.
that was that same day. Like
Okay.
30 minutes later, after I was out, had gotten dressed or whatever.
Okay.
Y'all came back.
Oh, we had to come back, honey, because
Yes,
it
I was
sounded
like crumbling.
awful. It was like, like it almost sounded
I'll
like
literally
you were
never
on the phone
forget
and got bad
it.
news.
Because I'll never forget when I came to terms. Honestly, it's so crazy. I can like feel the exact feeling
I
right
can
now.
tell now looking
It
at
feels the
you.
exact same. When the thought occurred into my head, like what I had to do, I'm like, this is like painful to think about.
Yeah.
It was like
I
hurt
felt
me
so
so bad.
helpless, but
Ugh,
here's what's
was
crazy, and I
horrible.
don't know if I ever told you
Oh, I
this.
feel bad for my 17-year-old self.
You feel bad for your 17? No, feel
Well, not feel
good.
bad,
You
but I'm
handled
like,
it
oh my gosh,
well.
I'm like that really hurt me so bad at the
Yeah,
time.
for
But it's like,
sure.
child, life goes on, whatever. But
When you decided you wanted to start dating, I immediately had to like reconcile the fact that
knowing that that moment's
she's
gonna
gonna
come,
that her heart's gonna be broken.
yeah,
Like there is no way to avoid this. Now, don't
yeah.
get me wrong. You do have the occasional people who they're high school sweethearts.
Ow.
They stay together. But even in staying together, there's some heartbreak for whatever reason, being
Mm-hmm.
together that long. And I
For
just was like,
sure.
Lord, just help me. Give me the strength
Mm-hmm.
to
And
help
I
her
like
get
cried
through
all
this.
summer long.
You did. And once again, my empathy, like I had to like keep myself in check because as you
Yeah.
were grieving, I had to resist grieving as well. Not so much
Yeah.
grieving him, but grieving the fact that you're grieving.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just had to like say, Rachel, this is her journey. This is, I
Mm-hmm.
never wanted to feel like I was, I wanted to influence you in a positive way, but I never wanted to like get in the way of the decisions that you were making as it related to your life
Yes.
because you got to live
Yes.
for you,
Literally. It's like
not for me.
I'm the only one that gotta live my
So
life at the end of the
it's
day.
literally like double dutch trying to figure out when do I jump in, when do I
Yeah.
when do I
Yeah.
just stand here?
You were really trying to like
I
do
really
it right.
was.
Yeah.
And I was just happy that you were able to like have that experience. You had the support of the family. Like he would come over, everybody was nice to him. When we would have dinners or different things,
Yeah.
you know,
Everybody
he
like,
would.
oh hey.
I would bring up the
They were like used
graduation
to him.
after graduation plans, but I won't.
No, look, I'll say it. And this is part of when I knew, okay, because let me put a timeline to it. Towards the end, no, not the end, maybe the middle of senior year is when I like broke up with him. Cause I was like, oh my gosh, like we're about to go to college. And that's why I just
But y'all
started.
end up going to prom.
Hold on.
Okay.
I realized how different, and I'm like, sorry, this isn't gonna work. Like I literally thought about the whole thing. I said, this is not gonna work. And I mean, cut to 2025 today, I'm still correct because I'm like, no. But then like we had a talk, we had gotten back together. Because also part of what it was, He wanted us to go to the same college. I forgot. He wanted us to go to the same
Remember, you
college.
were the one that told him about applying to UGA the weekend before the deadline.
Oh,
And he got in.
yeah,
Remember that whole
yes,
thing?
yes.
And you had been
So,
applied.
yes.
Mhm.
He wanted us to go to the same college, and I told him straight up. I said, "I'm going to whatever college has the best dance program, and it doesn't matter what state it's in. I'm going." And that's what, like, he was so upset. He was like, "But like, that's gonna break us up," and da da da. And I'm like, "But we have to like put our pride, like our what we want to do,
Mhm.
that has to come first." And yes, because I was thinking about like applying to University of Arizona because they had a really good dance program, and I was like, and if I were to get in there, I would go if I
Mhm.
really wanted to go.
Okay.
But he was just making the process so hard. And I'm like, I remember thinking like looking for a college should not be hard in this way. It's gonna be like harder to decide and
Right.
figure out
You
da da
shouldn't
da.
feel like you
But I should,
married
yes. I said I
and y'all
should
breaking
not
up.
at 17 have this extra
That's
stress to where
right.
I'm like scared and like sad because I'm like, I don't want to hurt somebody else's feelings. So it was that coupled with me thinking about like, wait, but in general in life, we do want different things and blah, blah, blah. So then we broke up then, but we had a talk. He had talked to his mom. His mom was like, you can't be saying this to her and you can't be doing this and da da da. He was really
Oh, I didn't know that
apologetic.
part.
Yeah, he's
Mhm.
really apologetic. He was like, I'm like, that was out of line for me to just be expecting you to just go, or like we just go to the same
Mhm.
place, whatever, da da da. So we got back together, and then I don't know, just the same issues end up coming back up in the summer where it's like, we want two different things in life. Like this is
Mm.
not gonna. So then, is that rain? Okay, I'm like, it's not like something's breaking
I
through. Jerry's like,
I
yeah.
think he was afraid. I think he knew he was going to lose you.
I think so too, and that's probably what just where his
And he knew because he never got you
ferocity.
back.
Yeah, that's where his like ferocity probably came
Come
from
on,
with it.
ferocity, SAT
And
word.
because he was very like serious, like he
He
had
was.
some like strength behind him when he was talking about it. But yeah, so we were together at graduation. That's the point I was getting at. Broke up in the middle of the year, got back together, went to prom, had graduation, we're together. This is when I should have known that we were gonna break up again anyway. This sounds so bad.
Wait, how much time had passed between the time you broke up with him in the middle of the year and the time y'all got back together before prom?
Mm, I want to say we got back together like maybe a week later
Oh,
or days
okay.
later. But even when we got back together, we did not go back to talking normal. I was like, I don't think we should like be texting all the time.
Parameters.
I think we should ease back
boundaries.
in. Yeah, I was like, we can't just jump back in. Like we just got back together and we just jump back into talking all the time. Like we need to like
Right.
give it some time. I was like, during the school day when I see you, cool. But when I get home, like I don't think we should be texting and stuff. Cause I'm like, I want to be able to focus on what I gotta do, whatever. But yeah, so we had got back together, went to prom, had graduation. And this sounds awful when I think about it. It was not intentional. The entire day of graduation, I like forgot he existed. I forgot I was in
I
a relationship. I was
remember.
not thinking. And it wasn't even like, oh, I'm thinking about other guys or thinking about getting together. No. I was just thinking about graduating and that's it. And that's all.
Exactly what you were supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Like I was not thinking about a thing. It was not until after graduation, he had texted me and he was like, when I was standing up getting ready to go on the stage, mind you, this is even worse. I was on the front row of graduation because I was honor grad. So I
Right.
have clear view of the stage. There's not even like any
Right.
kind of obstruction. He was like, I was at the stage and I was trying to like wave to you before I got on the stage.
Oh,
And
now
I did
that
not
breaks my
see
heart.
him. Yeah, it made me feel so bad.
Because in like we've been doing this thing together at least more than half this the time in high school.
The end of sophomore year,
and we're
all of
ending.
junior year and senior year.
Right. So he's
And
like, we're doing this together. High school movie.
He's like, I was waving at
Hey.
you and you did not look at me at all.
Oh
And I'm
my
like,
gosh.
and I told him, I was like, oh, I didn't even see you. But what I didn't say was like, oh my gosh, but I didn't even think about you at all. Like I was not thinking about, I just remember like looking up at the stage, like, wow, graduation. Like I wasn't thinking about it
And
at
over
all.
there, me crying every 5
Oh,
minutes.
yes, you were a mess.
Honey,
You're crying.
honey, you kept standing up. All these little accolades you had, and it was like all the things I'd never had. It was really
Aw.
nice to see like you earned that, girl.
I worked
You
really
did.
hard.
You worked really hard. You did.
But yeah, when I thought about it later, I was like, honestly, that was a really good like indicator that graduation is a big transitional moment. It's like going from one stage in your life to the
Mhm.
next. And if
Mhm.
I didn't even, my brain did not even acknowledge him in such a transitional moment, I'm like, he's not coming with me in the next phase probably if I'm not like acknowledging him right now.
Oh, that's
Like
deep.
if I didn't acknowledge him then like that, it had to have meant he wasn't and turned out to like be true. I'm like,
Wow.
he wasn't coming with me.
Wow.
But
You can't come. You can't
you
come with
can't
me.
come. And it's like, yes, but it wasn't even on that kind of energy. It just, I feel like it
Yeah, it
naturally,
wasn't malicious or anything. It was just like it
yeah.
was just something you knew you needed to do. And I
Yes.
was once you got through that, I was like, I mean, I know it could happen again,
You're right.
but we
But the
got through the
first one is a
first.
doozy.
The first
At
one's a
least we know.
doozy.
But I feel like because I got to do it under your roof, I just have like a better idea of how to navigate these things. And also it's
Did
like,
you feel more secure at all? Like, did you have a certain like when you think back, did you have just this safety, emotional safety that you didn't even realize you had?
I bet to say I probably didn't, if I had it, then that means I probably didn't realize I had it because I didn't know anything different than that. But yeah, if I look back on it, like I think I definitely felt like emotionally safe. I think I did. Also like like you said, he did treat me like really well. Like
Yeah, he was
even because like a high school relationship can be like
tumultuous.
different,
And I was real
tumultuous.
with y'all about that. I was
Yeah.
like, people do boyfriend, girlfriend, but like, of course, the goal is school, education, all
Mm-hmm.
that. But having a boyfriend, girlfriend is a natural part. But I have seen guys fail. They were doing just fine, and the relationship went bad, grades went bad, everything went
Mm-hmm.
south.
I never had
So,
to worry about like, is he talking to somebody else? Is he doing like not for 1 second? He also wasn't on social media, so I never have to worry and didn't care about it too. I remember I made him get
yeah,
Snapchat so we could like snap back and forth. He couldn't
right.
care less. Like all these things that like some yes, like some of my friends
What'd
and the
you say,
people, she
Deanna?
said green flags.
Oh yeah,
Some of like the things that like my friends could have been going through, like he's always liking these girls' pictures. He always doing that. And I'm like, he don't even want to
honey.
get an
That
Instagram.
boy had his
So
eye only on
I'm like,
Shari.
look, but because of that,
Mm-hmm.
I'm never having anything different ever.
Yeah, he
Because
said
if it existed once, it can
it can
exist
exist
again.
again.
He can't be the only man on earth that's gonna
Every
do that.
morning when we would come to school,
Mm-hmm.
I'd be in my room. He would come in the room too. Like he loved him
Mm-hmm.
some Shari. I will say
I'm
that.
like, yeah, he treated me very well. So it gave me like an idea of like what I'm having going forward. I'm like,
That's good.
I'm never, if I know something exists and I'm like, I like
You
that,
can't you
why
can't
would I have
unexperience
anything
it.
less? You
Right.
can't unexperience it. I would never have
That's
anything less than
good.
that.
That's
Look at
good.
you smiling. You're like
No,
happy about it.
yeah,
You're so
I am
cute.
because
You
there
said
are
that's
people right now on
good.
somebody's chair, on somebody's couch, on Gianni's
Yeah.
couch, talking about
Yeah, he's like an
things that happen in
angel.
their relationship that they're still trying to get past. And
Yeah.
to me, the younger you are, like when you first have that relationship, it kind of can set
Mm-hmm.
the standard.
Catch it early, child.
So I'm glad you did that. So like when you think about how you grew up and growing up for you, like what kind of thoughts and stuff?
It's like so many different stages. And you know, it's funny. And I was going to say this in another episode. It almost feels like when okay, for example, we lived in Harvest, right? That is such a drastically different era than when we moved to Georgia and live in Douglasville and then live where y'all live now. And then it's so like, it almost feels like an old wives' tale, not an old wives' tale. It feels like a story sometimes when I'm hearing it. I'm like, oh my gosh, like that was us. Like when it was me, you, and Sydney, there were honestly a lot of emotions, like a lot of different emotions. Our relationship, just the three of us, like very dynamic in a lot of ways. I wish Sydney was here more so she could like speak to her part of it as
Yeah.
well. But I will say overall, I loved when it was the three of us. I did. Cause it was just like the girls, like it was just the girls
The
doing it. You were
girls.
handling everything. There's that one picture that I always talk about of me, you, and Sydney at alumni, and you just look like a baby almost. Like you look
I look
so
so
young.
young. I saw
And me
that
and
picture.
Sydney are younger, and I'm like, wow, like that was young mom, just like handling it. You were probably like 30 something,
Yeah, because see, I
which
had you when I
to
was
me, that's
27,
young.
almost 28.
Yeah.
How old were you in that picture? Like
I
7?
had to have been like 7 years old, maybe Sydney
If
was
you
10.
were 7, I probably was 35.
Yes, and you did
34.
not look every bit of 35. Actually, you looked younger than that.
Yeah,
But I'm like,
yeah,
mom was handling it. Also,
yeah.
what I appreciate about growing up having you as a mom, you were like not a hater. And when I became, and I say that because I didn't realize until I got older that a lot of girls talk about how their mom is like their first hater, first bully. And I'm like,
Mm.
I'm so thankful because me and Sydney will even tell you now, like you'll be like, oh my gosh, my girls, like da da da. And Sydney was saying, also, be like, you just have to say that because you're our mom. Like you can't think we look that cute. Like you're saying it because you're our mom, and you're like, girls, like I'm saying it because I like believe
I
it.
really
So
believe
if
it.
anything, you're like fighting to tell us that you
Yes,
think we're
giving y'all
beautiful and this
compliments
and
that
that
are
and
real.
hyping us up when there are so many different like other experiences. And I'm like, wow, like I only know a mom who is just like cheerleader, like just loving everything we do, especially if we do something well, you're excited, front row.
I remember when I
like,
was pregnant with Sydney, her being my first, I was like, I can't wait to go to her school programs. I can't
oh,
wait.
I
Like I've
love
always wanted to be that
that.
parent that was sitting cheering my kids on.
Oh, and you were good for an award show. You were gonna be there. And funnily enough, it's like you were a school teacher. So we were in school, you were in school too, but you was
A lot
making
of
it to an
school.
award show.
Oh, for sure. I'm gonna make it to
What?
every award
You was
show.
making it to an
But
award show.
it goes back to that thing of like, I just wanted to do it right.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't ever, let you tell it, and I know you don't think I was perfect, but when you say like I really had, I enjoyed my childhood, it was good, what have
Yeah.
you, like I wasn't perfect. Like there was a lot of things that I did not do right.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't always feel like I made all the best choices and
Yeah.
but I just knew that I was out here just doing the best I could.
You were.
I knew I wanted my kids, I wanted y'all to have a full life. I never wanted y'all to feel like you were missing out on something. I was
Yeah.
big on that. My mom, she was an amazing mom. And when I think back to her, there are two things I think about, like her spirituality, and I think about her work. Like she worked a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean she was home too, but like it was really survival. She showed love. She always showed love. But survival mode is like, we got to get these bills paid. And so, like, I played basketball in high school. I don't think she ever went to a basketball game, but I didn't have resentment about it.
Yeah.
I don't think she ever saw me do, like, it was so funny. I'll never forget when, after I was an adult, I want to say I had just had you, everybody had come for your baby blessing. And either I was dancing or somebody was like, does your mom know you even dance? Like, do they know, like, does she know it's your thing? And I was like, no. And I started dancing. And my mother was just looking at me like she was so surprised. So
Yeah.
it's like, as much time that I did spend a lot of time with her, I'd be in her room talking to
Yeah.
her. I feel like I just didn't want to, the things that like my mom didn't always have the time to do.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to make sure I did those things.
And you did. I was gonna say you put a lot of effort into spending a lot of time with me and Sydney. Like you like
Oh,
made sure, even if it because there were times where, and I won't narrate Sydney's own experience for her. There were plenty of times where everything may not even be like the best of terms, but you still like, you're like, we're gonna spend time, we're gonna do stuff. Don't let it be summer. You're like, we're gonna go, y'all are gonna pick out a movie. We're gonna like go home, we're gonna watch the movie. Maybe we'll order a pizza. Like you were very specific about planning, which is why I romanticize everything now because
I
you made
know.
everything a thing.
Yeah,
But
everything had to be an experience.
yes, you were really big on that. Always engaging us, always talking to us all the time, which is why first day of school we run in to tell you about our day because we're like,
I could
this what
not
we do,
wait.
okay? We
I
get together
could
and
not
talk.
wait. I wanted to
But
hear about your teachers, and I'll never forget that 5th grade teacher. When I was like, Shari, how was your first day? You were like, my teacher doesn't smile. I was like, we're in
and you said, and
trouble.
we're doomed for the year.
I didn't say it to you, but I knew.
You knew
Like
it.
Shari was. It reminded me of when I was in the dentist office yesterday after Parent Trap went off. Ramona and Beezus came on. I don't even know if
I
I've
love that
ever
movie.
watched that.
Yeah,
But
you rented it for us.
I rented it. I knew
Yeah,
it
or like
sounded
red
familiar,
boxed it or something.
but Beezus was like, my teacher's just not nice. She's just not this.
Ramona,
And I
Ramona.
thought,
The younger one is
the-
Ramona.
I feel like her name should have been Beezus, but
Well, the older sister's name was Beezus because her name was Beatrice, but when Ramona was little, she couldn't say Beatrice, so she said Beezus.
oh, and
Mhm.
Jared's like having her moment too,
Yeah,
remembering
Jared
that.
remembered.
But yeah, Ramona was saying that. I'm like, that was Shari.
Yeah.
When you didn't have the right teacher,
Oh my gosh, that's part of why I love that movie so much because little Ramona, I'm like, oh, that is so young me.
yes,
That
how
is
she
so
was
young
got
me.
dirty on the like used to look like you came from up under the
playground.
playground.
Like,
I'm like, Shari, your hair didn't look
she
like that.
just-
There's dirt everywhere.
her mind was always on the next thing. Like she's just in her own world, really. And
Yeah.
I'm like, that's
Yeah.
me. Just like Junie B. Jones.
Exactly. Yeah,
Always-
you loved
always
her
related
too.
to a
I would
character
get you
like
those
that.
books. But yeah, I just was like, as it related to you, it just was important for you to have the right teacher. And that
Yeah,
year
child.
was hell because
So
I'll
cool.
never forget.
It
I
was
came
so
to
bad.
I came to the classroom. Shari was getting in trouble. I would do pop-ins. My school's right down the street.
Oof, used
Shari's
to
desk
pop
is
up.
facing the lockers that are up against the wall. The teacher's here. Shari's desk is here and she's facing that way. And I'm like, I don't want my child to be this child.
Right. Oh
And
my
I
gosh.
would
you're
go talk to
coming in.
Shari. Here's the thing about Shari. I'd go talk to her, sweetest thing ever. Like she's talking to me. Yes, mommy, and yes, ma'am.
Well, because I was in good
But
spirits.
could
at least.
not stand that lady. She's like, Mom, I don't like her. She this, she that. She's not this.
She shouldn't have been an
doesn't
elementary
care.
school teacher.
She shouldn't have been an elementary.
She was not meant to teach elementary kids.
Oh my
but
gosh.
I will say I was very talkative as a kid, and I like if I wasn't like super engaged, I just was not always the most focused and like whatever.
I would agree.
Who is that?
This is Daddy Jones again.
Okay,
Daddy Jones, I'm gonna have to shut you off for now. Okay, love you.
But yeah, I was giving her a run for her.
Yeah, you were giving her a run for her money. So you were the kid that if things were if it was good, it was real good. If it was bad, it could go real south. Yeah, it'd go real bad. So that's funny that when I think about that, you were more so talkative at school, but didn't get as much trouble at home.
Yeah, because I had no desire really. You never really made me that upset. I mean, there were times where you made me upset, but on a day to day, I did not have a bone to pick with you. But
a bone to pick as
because I didn't. But one thing that I always think about from childhood is like the time me and Sydney would be giving you a run for your money sometimes.
Oh my!
And when I think back, I'm like, and we were low key stressing Mom out. And I feel bad because it was just you. Right. We would be playing. I'll never forget. And I wish Sydney was here to tell this with me. We came home from the Boys and Girls Club, and we had the My Scene Doll
Wait,
CD.
was it summer?
No, that's what
year?
makes it worse. And it was the song that all the honeys are standing on the wall, all the girls. Sydney turns the radio up to max volume, is playing the song. We're jumping on our bed, jumping down, jumping to the other person's bed. You came in, you said, "Girls, get in the shower now, wrap it up." Me and Sydney were like, chest tired because we've just been jumping. You could not believe your eyes, and I'm like, it was so much
because we had our nightly
that.
routine. Y'all would come home from school, eat a snack, do your homework, get in the shower. You might have a few minutes before bed. And we had no time for TV during the week.
Oh, we
Who's
never
got time
did.
for that?
We never did. Then I'm trying to sneak into Sydney's room at night so I can sleep in her bed.
I thought you were going to mention the car ride where y'all are in the back seat. Y'all went from one
then she's
extreme
swinging
to
her
the
hand in the
next.
back seat.
Yes,
we're plastered.
Y'all
up
are back there.
the
I'm
door.
like, girls, there were times y'all would drive me so crazy. I'd be like, I'm going to run into a tree. Yeah. Like it was so frustrating at times. And then it's like, Sydney won't start talking to me. Shari, what isn't it? I'm like, y'all don't want me to get in it.
And you would say, don't talk to each other.
I would say, don't talk to each other. And now all of a sudden, y'all want to talk. But, very different from my upbringing. My mother, single mother of five. Well, it didn't start off single. Mm-hmm. And what's crazy is, I said my mother had me in New York. Then I think, they sent me to Haiti because they needed to work and I didn't want to stay with nobody. So they sent me with my siblings and an auntie. We all came back.
So all y'all went back.
Well, they were there. First, it was just my mom and dad. My mom was pregnant with me, from what I understand. And then she had me. They tried to keep me and go to work, but I didn't want to stay with my dad when my mom was at work. And I was always crying. And so they sent me.
They said, let's send her back.
They sent me to Haiti with my siblings. And I think I came back when I was 1.5 years or something. And then we're all there. We grew up together. And then find out in the middle of the year, we're moving to Miami.
Live across the street from the Lagozos.
The Lagozos. Oh, I can't believe you remember their name.
Because I love that last name. I mean, I love an Italian last name.
They were true Italian. They were fiery, honey. The two sons, there would be fights that would break out every now and then.
You told me.
One thing about a neighborhood, you're going to sit, whether you're going to be bold and be outside or you're going to be looking through your window. You're like, ooh, what is going on? It's the Lagozo brother. They going off again. Brothers. They fighting. And then, there was another family over there. His name was Randolph. Was their last name Randolph? I can't remember. But by the time when we were in New York, my parents were together. Mm-hmm. Moved to Miami. And my parents were still together. I was 7. And I remember my mother told me years later, my father couldn't believe he helped her move. Because in essence,
he was like,
look at me. He said it in Creole, but like, I done messed around and help my wife leave me.
Literally.
And
She
so
said,
they
"Pack
got divorced when I
up."
was 11. So from 11 on, I was raised by a single parent.
Mm-hmm.
And well, really 7 on, because that's when we moved. And it was fun having siblings. We used to do silly stuff. We would stuff our clothes and be dancing with like bumping each other's stomachs. I mean, we thought that
That's
was
so
the funniest
cute.
thing. Like even now, like on dress up days, we put pillows in our butts and
Yes.
everything would look all lopsided, and we would just laugh. And me and my brother and my sister, because even though it was 5 of us, the older one, he got married. Les got married at 18, I want to say.
I did not
Yeah,
know
he
he's
was
18.
very young.
No, you need to tell about when Uncle Jack had his knee and Auntie Carla's neck. And then
Chest.
you caught, yes,
Or
yes.
stomach, one of those.
Yes.
It was a summer. Nobody was working. We were too young to work. Nobody was in summer school.
I didn't know it was this
And
like this funny.
Jack and Carla would always get in a fight because they were only
Close
2
in
years
age.
apart.
Mhm.
Me and Carla were 3 years apart. Me and Jack were 5 years apart. So me and him were never going to be fighting. If anything,
Right.
I don't want no smoke. Whatever you telling me to do, fine. Carla was like, "You not the boss of me,"
Yeah.
because she was
She's
only
still
2.
like that. She
She's
don't
still
play.
like that. 2 years apart. It was usually the TV.
Oh my
Back then you didn't have
gosh.
remote control, so it was like you had dibs on the TV as long as you stayed sitting in front of it. The minute you get up, go to the bathroom, you could lose dibs. So it's like, you turn the channel, I was watching something. No, I was watching something. Pat, pat, boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, and
The
so I'm just like,
dials.
guys, stop. I'm trying to get them to stop.
Oh.
I don't know if this was a TV issue, but all I know she ended up on the couch. He's on top of her. It looked like his knee is like here. I'm like, this is not good. In my mind, I'm thinking he's going to kill her. So
You're a kid.
she's
You're
like down there.
thinking
She's
the
like,
worst.
Carla, Rachel, call mommy. I'm like, okay. And I'm picking up the phone. I'm like, mommy, Jack got his knees in Carla's stomach. And she was like, to hell with you, kill each other. I was like, she said, I'm at work. Like,
Yeah.
basically, she couldn't believe
Oh my gosh.
we were
Her kids are acting a fool.
Like,
and
I'm
then you
here
have to
at
tell
work.
Auntie Carla.
single mom. She was a CNA,
Yeah.
not making that much money, just trying to
doing
survive,
her best.
to pay the bills.
Came
doing
to
her
this
best.
country
Came to
just
this-
for her kids to call her at work talking
Come
about
awesome.
Jack has his
Jack
knee.
is me and Carla's doing. She's like, I'm at work. I cannot believe you. To hell with you, kill each other. I was like, and then Carla's like, I'm like this, like I'm here thinking she's gonna like put Jackie on the phone. She's
Yes.
Jackie. Put Jackie on the phone. And I'm like, she says that, and Carla's looking at me like I'm her last hope. And she's like, what did she say? I said, she said to hell with you. Kill each other."
Oh my gosh. I
But
love that,
When I
Mom.
tell you though, we had so much fun as children.
I
though,
love that.
because we didn't have much to
Mhm.
do.
You gotta
every
get creative and
every
have
game
fun.
known to mankind, we played and had a competition.
Mm-hmm.
We played Ting Ting. We created Ting Ting. We would take coins like a quarter, and you had 3 times to hit the other coin. And if you hit it, you got their coin. And then you keep going. Really, it's gambling, but but yeah, and then you just
Really,
ting,
it's
ting, ting, ting.
gambling.
Carla was always good at it. Carla was good at every game.
Yeah.
I was just trying to hold on.
You were
like
trying to
prove-
hold your own
I'm
as the youngest.
but I'm trying to hold my own. Like I'm a big
Please.
nux with the cards where we hit each
Oh
other
yeah, you talking about that.
with the cards after losing the game and hands swollen. My hands were so swollen. I'd be in tears, but I'm still playing because I'm not giving up.
That's some
He would hit me
sibling
down. I'm like,
stuff. That's some sibling stuff.
And we would play Uno. We got
Yeah.
Uno cards for Christmas. We got a little hockey game. That was a competition. Backgammon was a competition. I don't know if we were playing spades then, but it was so much fun.
Growing up with siblings, it's like I feel like nothing prepares you. I don't know. I feel like when you grow up with siblings, there's like it feels like a training camp. Like it feels like an extra layer of like training
Hazing.
for life. And then especially on top of that, growing up as like a girl with a sister, to be at war with somebody and best friends with them in the same day.
My God.
Okay.
In the same
day. Me and
Yeah.
Sydney have waged war. Okay.
With
and then
one
the next
another.
hour, I'm like, do you want to come to my room and read? Like literally best friend.
What you say
We're on
y'all
the
used
couch.
to do with each other's room? Y'all would go
Oh, because okay, that was another thing about you. You were not with the fighting. You were like,
Not
y'all
physical
do not
fighting.
physically fight ever. You don't hit your sister. and it's not like there weren't times where I might like hit her because I would just like get so mad, but that was not our first option. So we would just mess up each other's room. So like I would run to her room and like hit something off the dresser. She would run my room and take the comforter and yank it off the bed and run back, try to close her door. Then we're pulling on the door because I'm trying to get in her
I
room.
did not know any
I
of this
remember
was
one
going
time
on.
we went back to school shopping and she had just got these really nice shoes and she like had them at the front of her room and we're like arguing or whatever. And I kicked the box of shoes across the room. I had felt like I had done it. Like when I did that, I was like,
You felt
yes.
like you got the best of her?
Yeah, but it started a war of now messing each other's room up.
Oh
But yeah,
my
having a
gosh.
sibling, like it's just the whole, I can't even
It's a
have
lot
my
of fun.
arm up comfortable without like being scared that somebody's gonna tickle my armpit. Like it puts the fear of God in you when you grow up with a sibling.
Yeah, because they're going to get you.
Watching
I
the TV,
remember-
not wanting to get up out of your spot because they're gonna get in your spot,
Yeah.
and then you're like, girls, everybody go to bed. Like
Always something to fight about. I remember when we were little. I think we were in New York at this time. And I think I had a blow pop. They gave us each some candy. And my siblings had eaten their candy. And Jack used to come to me like, you want that blow pop? And they would wait till like I'm like sleeping and like wake me up. You know how when you sleepy, you just like whatever.
right, so you could say yes and they could take
I
the
could
blow
say
pop.
yes. That's what my
That
brother
is some
did.
sibling
That's
stuff.
some
It
sibling
really
stuff.
is. Like,
Yes, it drove me crazy, but it was like one of those things like, what I'm gonna do?
what are you gonna
I-
do?
I can't raise
It
up
kind of
against
it
them.
breaks you in.
And then wait, here's the thing you didn't get to feel. You'd be lucky
What?
for this. There were times I'd be in the middle. When Jack and Carla were fighting,
Oh,
he's trying to pull me. Rachel, come here. Come into my room. And she tells me now, she's like, I hated it. I hated it. When and he's in there talking about my sister to me.
Yes,
And I feel torn because at the end of the day, I'm team girls. Like we're here together.
you're like, we're the
not-
sisters.
Like I'm sitting here because I'm scared and I want to be safe.
You're right.
But don't get it twisted.
My loyalty is with her.
My loyalty is with her. He's like,
Yes.
and Carla this, and
This
Carla
is-
that. And Carla said she used to be outside that room like, oh, he makes me
Seething.
sick. They make me sick.
Oh.
seething. It was just fun. But like, here's the thing. We knew not to go to our mother. Okay, growing up in a Haitian household was very interesting because my mother did not play. Like, first of all, we cleaned the house 2 days. Friday to prepare for Sabbath and Sunday. Because
I know that's
Caribbean
right.
people like to like visit each other on Sundays.
Yeah.
So it's like you got to make sure your house is clean, make sure everything is good. And I dreaded the cleaning, but my only job was dusting. I had to dust the furniture.
I didn't know that.
So I had to take the pledge spray and wipe everything down. I thought I had a hard job. I wasn't cleaning bathrooms and sweeping floors. But my mother, like the dishes, I got to give the dishes story.
Mm.
It was one summer. The three of us were home. Me, Jack, and Carla.
was a good
boom,
start.
Boom, boom.
Once.
Stair step. And my mother was working. And we each have like weeks or days to wash the dishes. And on this particular day, I think she came home sooner than we thought. You know how kids do. They're playing the whole time in the last minute before the parents come home. That's when you're trying to hurry up and fix stuff and do stuff.
Yes.
So she walked in, and I'll never forget, she's standing there with her purse on her shoulder after a full day's work, and she looks at the dishes. She says, you did not wash the dishes? And then all of a sudden, blame. Jack is blaming Carla. Carla's blaming me. I'm blaming her. I'm like, I wasn't supposed to wash the dishes today. We're like arguing. Meanwhile, my mother does the slow walk with her purse
She said, I don't do
to
got
the-
time for that talk.
to the kitchen. She opens the cabinet. She says, you don't wash dishes? You don't need dishes.
Breaks them all.
Every time I think that really didn't happen, you know how like you'll learn once you get older.
Oh,
Sometimes things are
yes,
so
I
far
do that
away.
now.
You're like, did that really happen?
You
I've
can
been
gaslight
telling that
yourself into
story,
thinking like, no, maybe that didn't really happen.
gaslighting myself.
You literally
until
will.
I get around my siblings. Literally,
They
she
remember it too.
broke just about every dish in that house. Right onto like that was that moment where she had it. She cracked.
Yeah, she was not playing with
She was
y'all.
not playing. She even took some out of the sink and broke those. And I'll never forget. After that, we may have had one bowl, a couple dishes, and when the friends would
May have
come
had one
over
bowl is insane.
for our competitions with the games, because at this point, as we got older, we would invite people that we knew over,
Mhm.
and we might have some food, and a couple people are eating. It's like, oh, can I get some? Yeah, but you gonna have to wait till I'm done with
We
this dish. Or
only
like,
got so
bruh,
many
can I
dishes.
get that? Can I get that cup after you? Can I get?
Oh my
It was, and
gosh.
my that's one thing about my mother. I think I get like her. She's like very like steadfast and resilient with things. Like she
Yeah.
was not buying more plates.
Yeah.
We only got more, I think, when she got more stuff from the people she
Mm-hmm.
was working for. She was like, y'all gonna suffer. And
You'll
that's how I am,
outlast.
huh?
I said you'll outlast. Like
I
if you're
will.
standing behind something, it's like no,
How they say standing on business?
no,
I was standing on
literally.
business then. That's why when I took cell phones, you're not going to know when you're getting the cell phone back. You'll get it back when I see desired behavior.
I feel like the
Because
end
if
of the
you know
world
the
too.
date, anybody could be good up until
Oh
that
yeah, because
time.
you can say in your head like I just got 2 weeks. I just got to make it. Like I can make this the best 2 weeks
I
and
mean,
get that
LJ be
phone
asking me,
back.
Mom, how long such and such? I didn't give you a
And
time.
I be wanting to tell him like I'm telling you right now, you're fighting a losing battle. Okay, don't ask mom these things. I be trying to tell LJ because I'm like I lived through this. Okay,
I
I
survived.
survived, right? And nothing survived. But you do the same exact things that you did with me and Sydney. I'm like, and mom did the same thing with us. And
So
trust, you're
you try to
not
give him,
winning.
okay, so tell me this. When you give him advice, what are the chances of him taking the advice? Like, is it 50% of the time?
Honestly, it
Or
really is 50-50 with LJ because even though you could have experienced something, lived it, went there, got the t-shirt, whatever, he's still not going to like take that into account. Like he still feels like whatever he's thinking, that's going to work.
he's thinking
He
it's
can
gonna be
get
different
over.
for
It's
him.
going to be different for him and I'm like, it's not going to be different for you. I'm telling you right now. Like just the fact that he's still washing the dishes like how you told me he was, even after I told him I used to do that and I used to have dish duty way longer than you had it cuz you
Right.
have people you have mom and your dad helping you. I would be in there for hours. I'm telling you right now, it doesn't work. Mom used to tell me, Uncle Parnell used to tell me, everybody told me, and I still, whatever. Eventually I changed it over. He still ain't.
He still ain't
So when
with
it
it.
comes to LJM, it's 50-50. Like I try to help him. I'm like, me and Sydney lived it, but
But you know what? I think it's good, even though you're like 11 years older than him, and
mm-hmm.
he didn't get a sibling in the house as long as the rest of did.
Yeah.
It does help that you still talk to him and try to
Yes. And I'm
get him.
glad that I moved back home to be able to be in the house with him because he got to have a semblance of a sibling in the house with him. You
That's
know what I
true.
mean? And I made sure
Right.
I
Where
broke
y'all
him
can
in
get
real
together
good.
and talk
Yeah.
about your parents.
Yeah, and he's afraid to raise his arm. And I said, that's the market for
Because,
growing up with a
and
sibling.
low key though,
He
you
know
used to
he
torture
he's
him.
afraid to walk past me because he knows I will
Yeah, but
tickle
you would
him.
remember you would torture him with certain things when he was little. I'm like, Shari, stop.
It
Leave him
wasn't
alone.
torture, and it was me and Sydney.
Shari.
It would be short stuff like we're going to the grocery store and we'd be like, you have to stay in the car, like short things like that, and we would give it
No,
up. Or like
trauma.
it would be small. Or like
He's
Sydney would
triggered.
walk out the door. I'd be like, Sydney's not coming back.
See, that's evil. That's evil.
And he would
And
say,
then to the point where
no.
he would start. Remember, he used to have an issue with, Mom, where are you going? Wait, I'm like, LJ, I'll be back.
I don't
I
think that
promise
stemmed
you.
from that though, because we didn't do
Yeah.
that many
It
times.
exacerbated it.
It
Anyway,
was
child.
simple.
This is So Tell Me This Sundays. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Shari, and we'll
Bye bye.